The north of Germany is surprisingly wild. Proud, fast, and fierce. With large mammals, rare birds, unusual friendships, and the most breathtaking spectacles of nature. Giant stags, an unexpected sight in Germany's northernmost state. This rustic forest hosts red deer during the rutting season. Places like these are rare in Schleswig-Holstein. Most of the deer have spent the year close by. Now they are turning the clearing into a showground. "200 kilos of concentrated energy. The stags are in a hormonal frenzy. The red deer's mating habits vary. In this area, it's rare that a single male dominates a group of females for days on end. Dozens of large stags have arrived. Some have come from as far as 50 kilometers away, from a moor near Hamburg. Competition is fierce. A single male cannot dominate for long. No sooner is one stag ahead than another takes his place. New rivalries form and lead to new conflicts. To breed, the male must ensure that the female is interested. The act itself is over in seconds. The north of Germany rarely feels as primal as during the stag rut. On the North Sea coast, man has wrestled land from the sea, creating polders, wide stretches of low-lying land. The marshlands are fertile and have been intensively farmed since the 11th century. Scattered among the monotonous landscape are abandoned areas where nature can flourish. Small oases for corn bunting, roe deer, and hare. The narrow banks of the ditches sometimes provide shelter for rare species like the stone chat. Its young squat in the tall grass, hidden from view. If the grass is not cut back, the birds may soon become fully fledged. Starlings also thrive on the fertile grassland of the polders. They hunt for insects on the rich pastures. Many more hare live here on these open marshlands than anywhere else in northern Germany. And the blue throat, once almost extinct, has also been multiplying for many years. A true globetrotter like the short-eared owl is a rare sight in these parts. Its travels have carried it thousands of kilometers. Short-eared owls breed across large swathes of North America, Asia, and Northern Europe, wherever there are enough mice to eat. This male is not alone. A second owl has claimed some territory nearby. But if the two meet, there will be trouble. The clapping of the wings means, this is my territory. The owl's broad wings allow them to maneuver quickly in the air. Battles over territory normally don't last long. The humans nearby don't seem to bother them. Short-eared owls need lots of mice. Only then can they start breeding. As soon as the bird hears a mouse, it closes in swiftly. If the hunt is unsuccessful, the owls will not breed here this year and will move on. Polders are man-made landscapes, but they show that even here, wildlife can find space to flourish, given the opportunity. This is why abandoned areas, roadsides, and embankments are so important. Truly unspoiled nature can only be found in a few places in Schleswig-Holstein. In the center of the state, a moor has survived, and surrounding areas have been restored. Today, the Dorsen Moor is the largest upland moor in the entire region. Here too, there was once a moor. Pushed out by train lines and houses, all that remains are bushes and a gravel embankment. Native wildlife has long since moved on, with some exceptions. A common viper. She has hibernated here over the winter. Now she lies in wait. Places like this have been used by snakes for decades. The viper emits a scent. A male picks up on her pheromones and follows the trail. His sense of smell is excellent. He detects the scent with his tongue. Vipers cannot see particularly well. Fixated on the scent, He doesn't notice her at first and slithers by. He begins to court the female. The process follows established rules and can last for hours. Sometimes the females take days to consent. They slip and slide until perfectly in sync. The smell of the copulating snakes attracts another male. He follows the scent and finds the pair. But he's too late. Mating has already begun. However, the newcomer is undeterred and resorts to drastic measures, biting his rival, but without his venomous teeth. Something never before caught on camera. The first male cannot easily retract his so-called hemipenis, even when disturbed. His organ is fixed to his partner with sharp hooks. His competitor twitches violently. This is actually part of the mating prelude, a courtship ritual triggered by the scent of the female. But having disturbed the pair, his advances come to nothing. Eventually, he gives up. The viper's habitat is vulnerable. One more train track, and they would be gone forever. In the far north of Schleswig-Holstein, however, nature is being brought back to life. The Geltinger Berg, a peninsula that juts out into the Baltic Sea. Wild horses, known as conics, have roamed this protected area since 2002. A small, original breed that can live outdoors for the whole year. The horses perform conservation work. They keep the vegetation short and the 8 square kilometer region free of trees. Alongside some Galloway cattle, they help to maintain biodiversity on the peninsula. That benefits a great number of plant and animal species. The conics form natural herds of stallions, mares, and foals. This is the lead stallion. He is always busy, keeping an overview and keeping the younger males at a distance. He protects and watches over his herd. And he is at the peak of his physical strength. Stallions of all ages love to tussle, and in doing so, learn the hierarchy of the group. about 3 years, each of them will try to establish a herd of his own. But until then, he remains in charge. Wherever horses and cattle keep the grass short, starlings find a bounty of food. And their bathtub is right there too. The Geltingerberg, a natural landscape created by man. Many other natural habitats are dying out. Like this small heath, where one highly endangered species has managed to survive. Sand lizards. The females of the species are brown in color, while the males are green. If their habitat is no longer kept clear through maintenance measures or by large herbivores, they will disappear. These lizards do not live in the wild. The 3 males and 7 females are being held in an enclosure so they can breed. The males are prone to fighting. Once he finds a suitable mate, he makes his intentions very clear. A lighter-colored male also tries his luck and begins the mating foreplay, biting the female on the side of her body. His rival will not let this stand. While the couple return to their embrace, the interloper sneaks up on them again. Too close for comfort. But the female mustn't wait for long. The darker lizard has won. Biting down into the female's side, he holds her tightly in place and brings the underside of his body into contact with hers. Their union lasts 5 minutes. In 3 weeks' time, she will conceal a dozen eggs in the ground. Breeding the lizards is vital, because many of their natural habitats lie isolated within agricultural land. Like these heath dunes, no more than 17 hectares in size. Sand lizards can live here, but they are unable to reach or spread out beyond such remote areas. Reptile expert Patrick Pohlmann puts one of the females in a separate container. The eggs are already visible underneath her skin, and she significantly increased in size. Over the next 24 hours, she will dig into the soil and lay her eggs at a depth of 10 centimeters. After hiding her treasures, the now much slimmer mother lizard returns to the enclosure. Patrick carefully searches for the white eggs. Each egg weighs less than a gram and is only 14 millimeters long. Then it's off to the incubator, where the eggs are kept safe. "40 days later, something is starting to stir under the elastic shell. The tiny babies begin to hatch. Weighing barely a gram, but already 6 centimeters in length. Dinosaurs in miniature. They remain in the incubator for 3 to 4 weeks, where they are fed. Then Patrick brings them to their new home, the Geltingerberg, where the baby lizards can enjoy the best living conditions. The conics keep the vegetation short and break up the grassland with their hooves. Their wallowing on the ground creates open, sunny patches of sand. Rolling around helps them maintain their coats, at least until the lead stallion arrives and demands to take his dusty bath. This enjoyable activity is also good for circulation and relieving tension. A little wellness treatment in the sand, horse style. Patrick is looking for a suitable spot to release the baby lizards into the wild. It needs to be somewhere with adequate cover, but also enough sunlight. He releases the lizards in groups of 5 to 6 at a time. The little reptiles have grown big since hatching. They will find enough to eat on their own, but still, not all of them will survive. Nonetheless, subsequent research in the Geltingerberg has shown that the sand lizard population is growing. Open grassland is a valuable natural treasure in the north, like on some river lowlands and meadows. Local nature protection dictates how this land is to be used, and also considers the needs of rare bird species. If this meadow has any mice living here, then there's one bird who will be sure to find them. The short-eared owl. A dozen pairs are breeding here this year. The male is alert to his surroundings. Marsh harriers from close by pose a threat to the owl's young, especially when one of the owlets sits out in the open instead of hiding in the long grass. Now its father must repel the intruder. He claps his wings together to warn off the attacker. Giving the harrier little choice but to reconsider. As soon as the danger is over, the male begins to hunt. Usually, the owl only hears its prey, but it can also hunt on sight, with incredibly fast results. Its call tells its young, "I have food." "Over here," comes the reply. But instead, the mouse is delivered to its siblings, who are hiding in the long grass. Their dark-feathered brother will only get fed once he returns to his safe hiding place. This year, there is plenty to feast on the floodplains. Some of the short-eared owls will even manage to breed here a second time. Schleswig-Holstein's meadows and fields provide a wealth of food. Rape flowers attract insects, which in turn draw flocks of barn swallows. Red deer, with their rapidly growing, so-called velvet antlers. For weeks on end, the animals spend their days in the rape field. It provides shelter and food, both in abundance. They are building up reserves for the strenuous rutting season. In summer, the hinds and their young separate from the stags and come together in herds. The large number of calves shows that the red deer is multiplying fast in northern Germany. The deer have all the food and shelter they need right here. They spend most of their lives on a small patch of land. But they are isolated from other red deer populations. This has led to inbreeding, and the animals suffer accordingly from genetic defects. This can be seen in the smaller stag on the right. His lower jaw is too short. There are now dozens of such cases. Pasture fences pose no obstacle. They simply hop over them. The gigantic Kiel Canal, however, is a more insurmountable barrier. It runs 100 kilometers from east to west and divides one half of Schleswig-Holstein from the other. Large motorways also prevent the red deer populations from mixing. The A7, which runs 150 kilometers from north to south, has only 2 wildlife crossings. Over the A21, there is another so-called green bridge. 50 meters wide, it allows beetles, snails, frogs, reptiles, as well as plants and various species of mammal to cross from one side of the road to the other. Fallow deer can be spotted here almost every day. The small, attractively speckled species is common in Schleswig-Holstein. It was introduced by the aristocracy as ornamental game and for hunting, back when red deer were rare. Thanks to the mild climate and abundance of food, these deer calves are bursting with energy. They easily master the bouncing leap known as stotting. It's familiar from African antelopes, who use it as a way of fleeing from predators. The fawn's dancing and leaping, however, is pure joie de vivre. In Schleswig-Holstein, the animals are used to being disturbed. They simply disappear back into the rape fields. It's the perfect cover. Until harvest time, at least. Germany's northernmost state is farming country. More than 60% of its surface area is used for agriculture. Fallow deer have adapted to this reality. The males, with their large shovel-shaped antlers, form small herds that roam around in the summer. They hide in the fields and feed on the ears of wheat. Endless grain fields are typical for this region. But as one landscape shows, there is always room for exceptions. It's home to a wide variety of plant life growing on unfertilized soil. Pasque flowers, bulbous buttercups, marsh orchids, and open pastures. All this attracts birds. Rooks descend upon the sea of blossoms. They raid the nests of meadow ants, who store their cocoons just beneath the grass. The nests are plentiful, if well concealed. The ants put up a fight, but have no chance against the birds. Easy pickings for the rooks, ever since this former military training ground was turned into wild pastures in 1998. The Schaefer House Nature Reserve is reminiscent of a bush savanna. Like in Africa, the bushes have thorns to protect themselves. But it's not always enough. "90 Galloway cattle keep the land open. They spend the whole year outdoors, even during the winter. Their thick hides and efficient metabolism make this possible. The cattle originate from the Galloway region of Scotland. In Schleswig-Holstein, they live naturally in small herds of mothers and calves. The cows are not alone. Around a dozen conic horses also roam the 300 hectares of pasture land. Only one of the mares ventures into the deep water. She checks the pond carefully before bathing. Her sensitive ears must remain dry. Many of the ponds and pools here have been newly created. They ensure that the cows and horses have enough water, even during dry summers. In 2015, the cattle received a visitor from Denmark. A young red deer stag joined the cows and has remained here to this day. The people of the region call him Sven. Sometimes Sven leaves the reserve, but he always comes back for breeding season. He has taken a shine to one of the cows and pursues her relentlessly. It's rare in the animal kingdom that one species flirts with another, but Sven is clearly very interested. This cow does not appreciate his advances. She stays close to the bush. His antlers get in the way, thwarting his efforts. Undeterred, he makes his move. It seems Sven won't be stuck pursuing cows forever. He stands a good chance of meeting a more suitable mate, as more and more red deer migrate from Denmark. Back in the breeding ground of the short-eared owls, the grass has grown. But now the mowing has started. This young owl is hiding in the protected area. He is safe here. Only the next field is being mowed. The young owls can already fly and come into the open. They are no longer scared of predators. Hunting in the tall grass is difficult for the male owl. It's easier on the freshly mowed areas. Hares are not part of their diet. They are too big. A nice fat vole is what he's looking for. A young owl needs about 4 such rodents per day. Immediately, Father Owl continues the hunt. If all goes to plan, he'll catch the next mouse within minutes. With his large talons, he grabs his prey through the layer of cut grass. Young short-eared owls are curious. The hares come to the meadow every evening. They must be good for something. Two species that could not be more different, but both live from the meadow and what it provides. The young owls don't really see the hares as prey, and the hares seem aware of this, but it's still fun to annoy them. Some years, only a handful of owls appear. When mice are plentiful, however, more than 100 pairs of short-eared owls will breed in Schleswig-Holstein. October. The fallow stags have joined the females. Mating season is about to begin. Many of the traditional mating grounds are located on the lands of old estates. The animals are not yet in heat, but the younger deer are in the mood for fighting. A drainage shaft offers some protection in case the opponent is stronger. Between the adolescent deer, things can get intense. The fight for supremacy has begun. The broad shovels shield the deer from the pointed parts of their opponent's antlers. But there are still 10 days to go before the mating season reaches its climax. In the meantime, further north, a nature spectacular is starting. A reed bed area near the Danish border draws scores of visitors in the autumn. They are waiting for a special event. Starlings, migrating from the north to their wintering grounds. They appear here every evening to spend the night among the reeds. The visitors are captivated by the sheer number of birds. Over 1 million of them. As bedtime approaches, the countless birds are swallowed into the reeds. Back among the fallow deer. This stag seems to be in a hurry. Mating season is in full swing, and at this large rutting ground, more than a dozen deer may be active at once. Next to the clearing is a pasture. The cows cannot come out, but the deer can come and go as they please. The stags with their big shovel antlers arrive. Weighing around 80 kilograms each, the younger bucks have little chance against them. Their strange mating call is intended to impress the females. Smelling good is also important. From a gland on his eye, the stag spreads a pungent secretion all over his body. On the mating ground, everything is at stake. The hide on the deer's heads and necks is thick and tough. The wide shovels have rounded edges and keep the sharp tips of the so-called eye sprouts at bay. Unless the attack comes from behind. If there are 3 stags fighting each other, things can get complicated. One of the fighters is knocked to the ground. His rival then attacks from the side with his horn-like antlers. A potentially fatal maneuver. Luckily, the fallen deer is unscathed. As with the red deer, the act of mating itself is fast. It's all over in less than a second. The stags lose around a quarter of their body weight during the rutting season. By the start of November, they are spent. Back to the Starlings near the Danish border. The huge flocks are looking for space to rest on this designated bird sanctuary. The extensive reed beds are all thanks to a renaturation project begun in the 1980s. In Schleswig-Holstein, humans have done much to protect the natural world. And if they continue, the wildlife of northern Germany, the fighters, the singers, and all the rare creatures will be ours to witness long into the future.